Today's game is about
Air.
land.
And sea.
What is it about this game that makes my 11-year-old daughter want to play it so much? We're going to go into that here on Legendary Tactics. So I've played this game a bunch with my daughter.
This is a hit with your daughter.
She loves it.
That's so cool.
11 years old. She has a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
And you guys have just played your first full game.
It was neat.
After a bit of like a training game, I guess you would say. Well, first of all, what did you like about it, Cax?
Really enjoyed the push and pull back and forth. I thought that was kind of a neat, and the uncertainty of what's going to happen with the cards that you're playing, and like, are they going to survive the round?
Yeah.
That thought was running through my head often especially against a wily opponent like Flash.
Yes.
So that was kind of a neat part of the game.
Yeah.
That was one thing that I really enjoyed.
What about you, Flash?
3 elements I love. Number 1, easy to learn. You can teach this game to anybody really quickly, and I like a game that gets to the table really fast.
Yeah.
Number 2, I like what niche this fits in a collection. It's an appetizer game. It's a quick get in. You can play it late at night when you're tired, and it doesn't really matter. You know, keep it in your pocket if you're traveling somewhere. And
small box game. You can literally fit it in your pocket.
It's really compact.
Yeah,
it is.
Absolutely. And I think it hits that balance of there's enough strategy to keep someone interested in the game, but there's also some randomness. Whatever cards you get dealt, you don't have a lot of agency with those cards. What you get is what you get, but what you do have agency with is when you withdraw. So it's acknowledging this is a bad hand, I need to get out now.
Which I did do in our game. Yeah.
That's right, and which surprised me. And that to me was the best part of this game, was that you don't just play to the bitter end. You play the best you can with the hand you have, and you get out as soon as you can.
Yes. And that's, for me, is the best part, is that idea of when do you withdraw. And I love the idea of maybe playing your strong cards first, or whatever, and your opponent says, "Oh, I can't win," and bails.
That's
even
right.
though if you'd played it out, they would have dominated.
So, like,
and so there's
showing
an
great
element of
bluster.
psychology.
Yeah, there's a bit of a bluff
Even if
mechanics.
you're handed a bad hand, you're usually given a couple cards where it doesn't matter really, or even you can play, sometimes half your hand, and so you can see how it plays out, and still, if you have to, you can withdraw. You only give up a handful of points.
Yeah.
So you can see, and if you can perhaps scare your opponent a little bit, get a bit of control of a few of two of the zones. And maybe you can pull off a bluff win, which is, I think, another dimension to this.
In reverse, though, I had all the great cards. I was winning really well. You can check out our playthrough if you want to see how the game's played. Nate teaches us how to play it. Thank you for doing that.
Yes.
And Cax at the end pulls out a 2, and I'm laughing because I'm like, yay, I win. And suddenly you went like 2, 2, 2.
Yeah.
And
It was like a +2 to every card.
I did not see that coming.
That was face down.
You got your 6 points all at once, and you stole the win.
That's right.
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, that depended on the certain board situation to make that card effective, and you could have wasted that card earlier, or who knows, right?
That's right. So, you played it perfectly, and kudos to you.
So I think, like, if I had to summarize what I like best about this game, I think it's surprising in the amount of depth that they get out of 18 cards and a few tokens, and I think there's more to chew on than it first appears.
Now, at the start of the video, you asked the question, what is it about it that causes your daughter to like it? So what is the answer to that question?
I think, well, number 1, she wins against me a lot.
So that'll be part of it.
But I think for her, I think she just likes playing the cards and getting the special abilities.
Sure.
Because the cards are with the abilities, they're kind of interesting, and I like the events that you're compelled to do them.
Yes.
In most cases, so you can play.
And they can often hurt yourself too.
Yeah,
they can often hurt your own team, which happened to me early on when I was learning it. I'm like, oh man, I'm actually hurting my own team.
And look at this card. So I may have this in hand at the start, and it looks terrible. It's a 2, but suddenly I put my 2 down and I flip a 6 over, and that's a huge swing.
That's a huge swing.
So if it's a low number card, it's a higher power ability.
Yes.
Generally, right?
So there's
some
some
bit of a scale there.
Yeah, and I like it. I think the other thing my daughter likes about it is it's competitive, but it doesn't feel like there's too much at stake. You can lose a game and fire up another one. It's 10, 15 minutes of time, and you can just play again, which is, I think, great to encourage that sportsmanship.
Sure.
Now, if there's something you had to, you disliked, what would you say that was?
So for me, I had 2 different things that I thought were maybe cause to keep in mind anyway. I don't have to even, great concerns, but the first would be that the card text. So if you're and sort of getting through the card text, I know some of my kids that they would stumble on text a bit, and that wouldn't necessarily. So I would say younger kids, probably like 11-year-old maybe and up.
Yes. Yeah.
But below that, they're probably it might be a little bit much.
Yes,
So
that's fair.
but I mean for people like doing a games night, definitely
Yes.
you're game on, right? There's no problem there. That's heads up. The other thing that I would say is replayability. I wonder about as you get to know the deck really well. There's only 18 cards in there.
Yes.
I'm kind of wondering how much replayability. And I know there's a bit of the mystery of these 6 missing cards, but you're going to get to a point where you
have
kind of
the
know.
combo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know your 6 cards are, right?
Yeah.
You know what the 12 are in there eventually.
Yeah.
And you'll kind of be like,
Well, there's still some uncertainty, though. You don't know
yeah.
which ones are in
Yeah,
the
but
deck.
if you have, you'll know whether you can win a round or
And,
not.
and
with
as
some.
the cards come out, you get to a point where there's 4 cards out. So there's only 7 cards possible
Yes,
left that it
yes.
could be, and if you know what those powers are,
Yeah.
Yes.
I could calculate. There's 3 6s in there. There's 1
But that
5.
could
and-
factor into your decision to withdraw.
That's
right?
exactly right. Yeah.
For me, that's actually a strength because I like the fact that the better you know the game, the more meta games you can play against your opponent because you know that card's out there. They know that you know that card.
Right. Yeah. Here it is.
So it's kind of like
so
a
if
big.
you look a little eager.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, so in a way, it may actually be more fun to
As you
play
learn the
more
deck.
as you
All
play
right.
more.
Well
Okay.
argued.
Okay. Point
that's
taken.
What are what if you had to pick something to dislike? What
Yeah, there was only one thing I didn't like, and that's that Cax beat me. Just kidding. The only thing is, I mean, it's not a heavy game, and so if you're looking for a heavy game, this isn't the game for you. But if, as I say, if you want a quick play it on the bus kind of game, it's compact, it's easy, you can, it's very portable. So, but there's not a lot of strategic depth there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I would say there's more there than you might expect.
That's fair. Yeah. There's enough to make it interesting and worthy. I want to play it again, and that for me, that's the measure. Do I want to play this game again? Would I want this in my collection?
Yeah.
I think I would for the right price.
Yeah. And I would say, like, actually, I don't really have any dislikes. I always find it tough to name a dislike on a short. Compact game like this.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's 15 minutes of time. You're either going to like it or you're not.
Yeah.
And but I think this game would feel. Sometimes it does feel like you get bad luck with your cards, or there's sometimes your opponent is overpowered.
Luck of the draw.
There's a little bit of the luck of the draw. Now the withdraw mechanic mitigates that to some extent, but not fully, because as I said.
I used it once early, and it was a 2-point give.
You just
that's fine.
Give it up.
Yep.
Yeah. And
So
you're like, I don't think I
it can
win.
actually mitigate.
But there are still moves where like there's nothing Flash could have done to prevent
that last
the
card
move you did,
and he was
to win
stuck.
the game. Yeah,
and he was
so
stuck.
sometimes it feels like it's a little bit. You played the best you could and you lost anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that is necessarily
That happens.
a negative, but it's something that some people
You
might
get
not like.
outplayed sometimes.
Yeah. Or that's very true.
You do. I shall crawl into my hole of shame now.
So anyway, those are our thoughts. What are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments section below while you're down there. Be sure to click on the like button.
And don't forget to get out there.
Get gaming.
And be legendary.